Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, and it is not just Friday, as you know. It is Festive, Fabulous Friday, Self-Improvement Saturday, and I have a great one today. Actually, I would probably rank this story in my easily top 15, maybe pushing number 10. So I hope you enjoy this, and I hope we learn something from this today. And again, thank you for joining me for Storytime with Rob. This is called The Cookie Thief, and it was written by Valerie Cox. Here we go. A woman was waiting at an airport one night with several long hours before her flight. She hunted for a book in the airport shops, bought a bag of cookies, found a place to drop. She was engrossed in her book, but happened to see that the man sitting beside her, as bold as he could be, grabbed a cookie or two from the bag in between, which she tried to ignore to avoid a big scene. So she munched the cookies and watched the clock as the gutsy cookie thief diminished her stock. She was getting more irritated as the minutes ticked by, thinking, if I wasn't so nice, I would blacken his eye. With each cookie he took one too. When only one was left, she wondered, what would he do? With a smile on his face and a nervous laugh, he took the last cookie and broke it in half. He offered her half as he ate the other. She snatched it from him and thought, oh, brother, this guy has some nerve, and he's also so rude. Why, he didn't even show any gratitude. She had never known when she had been so galled, and sighed with relief when her flight was finally called. She gathered her belongings and headed to the gate, refusing to look back at that thieving ingrate. She boarded the plane and sank in her seat. When she sought her book, which was almost complete, as she reached in her baggage, she gasped with surprise. There was her bag of cookies in front of her eyes. If mine are here, she moaned in despair, the others were his, and he just tried to share. Too late to apologize, she realized with grief that she was the rude one, the ingrate, the thief. I absolutely love that story. How often have you been absolutely convinced of something only to find out later that you were mistaken completely? Dr. Noah Kageyama had this to say about the subject. Perhaps you were certain you put your keys on the dining table, but found them in your pants pocket. Or you were convinced you failed an exam, but ended up getting a B instead. Most of us have a tendency to err on the side of pessimism, justifying this by claiming it is more realistic, and saying that we don't get our hopes up and better not to get our hopes up and then be disappointed. Unfortunately, we don't really do ourselves any favors by doing so. I mean, think about it. Why would we want to bet against ourselves? Does being pessimistic make us more determined, persistent, focused, poised under pressure, enthusiastic, or resilient, and lead us to more dynamic performance? Yeah, not so much. Besides, when it comes to the future, we tend to be pretty terrible at predicting it. Who'd have thought Pearl Harbor would have been surprise attacked by Japan, for example? Or how many people thought Arnold Schwarzenegger would one day be the governor of California, or Donald Trump as our president? Or the great and mighty Titanic would have been sunk on its maiden voyage. Former NASA astronaut John Glenn, the first American to orbit the Earth, once said, and I paraphrase, that he got into the habit of asking himself the question, why not? Explaining that because none of us really know what's possible, why not open the minds to the possibility that we might be capable of something wildly awesome? Could you be an amazing artist, actor, or athlete? Why not? Could you start your own business, company, or enterprise? Why not? Could you become a doctor, a nurse, or a dentist? Why not? One of the most consistent findings in life is the connection between self-confidence and success. I would imagine that this is because self-confidence individuals tend to be awfully persistent. How persistent, how self-confident are you likely to be if you are pessimistic about the possibilities available to you? This next quote is for all you seniors out there, whether you're 18 years old or 60 plus seniors. You have great worth and are capable of things far greater than you give yourself credit for. This quote is for you. I'm going to look you right in the eye as I say it. Your hopes and your dreams are all your own, and you are free to follow them with strengths and talents uniquely your own. So strive to fulfill your self-desires and don't discard them at times of difficulty and despair. For yours is the power to be what you would be. If you can imagine something, you can achieve it. And if you can dream something, you can become it. Moral of the story, don't jump to conclusions about what you believe is impossible for you. In other words, don't be a cookie thief. Now, I'm going to ask you, send this to all those seniors that you know out there that are getting ready to graduate or who have already graduated on in this life. They are our future. Dream big and go and do great things. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a fabulous weekend, and until tomorrow, be safe.